LP here from Creators Guild HTX, a Houston-based podcast company, production company, located here in the Hive, Houston, right there in the heart of the city, Spring Branch District. So I wanted to take some time out today just to really talk about what we see in the landscape of podcasting. And a question that we always get is how can I monetize my podcast? So one of the things that I just recently got off a brand call, and in this call, it wasn't necessarily what people think when you're considering how you might monetize your content. So one of the questions that we always get is, well, what do I need to do? I'm a smaller creator. Of course, it costs for me to shoot my content, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I'm able to make some money off of this content. And as I left the brand partnership, a lot of things kind of opened my eyes to that many people think that you need a huge following just to make some dollars from your podcast, which I would say is incorrect. Yes, you definitely want to have a following. You want to be able to have some value, some additional details that you can share with the brand. But as I left this partnership conversation that I just recently had, a lot of the details were based really around what your audience loyalty is, how deeply embedded are they within your show, and then also what access you might have to them, and specifically their information. So I want to encourage you all to consider that really in this ecosystem of content, podcasting, whether you're in marketing in a creative space, that the information that you have on your audience is key. So the first things that we would talk about is just the general things. Of course, we're talking about metrics. You're looking at, okay, what age demographic is my audience? What part of town or what city do they live in? What are some of their other listening habits? Those are things that you really want to anchor in. But then you can get down to some of those details as well. What other shows do they listen to? What are some of their habits? And then if you can capture some of that detail, then maybe you might be able to talk to your brand partnerships or potential partnerships about why you feel like you would be a good fit for them. So I wanted to give 3 tips today, just 3 quick things while I went live, just to share some examples of what you can do to be powerful as it relates to not only your podcast, maybe content that you're shooting, that'll help you propel yourself to become monetized, even if you don't have a large audience. First things first, capture that data and information. Get you a newsletter, get you an email, something where you can capture the data from the people who are listening to your show, because all of them will be interested in more content from you. But if you get that email, you'll be able to share information with them. You'll be able to see who opens, what click rates, and that'll give you an idea of how loyal that audience is. Because think about how powerful it is if you go to a brand, let's say you've got 1,000 listeners, they may be concerned with shows that's got 100,000, but let's say 50% of your 1,000 listeners, they always open your emails. They always check the information that you share with them, and they're always ready and engaged with your content. So that's going to be a powerful thing for you just moving forward. So the first thing first is, I say try to capture some information, some data. You might do that through a survey, through sharing to solicit to say, hey, we'd love to keep in touch with you. Put an email in here, sign up for our newsletter so you can send more contact to them, send more content in an actionable way. Second thing I would say is, you can also try to just work with the people who have already been some of your day one followers. Those individuals may be eager to have more access to you, maybe a Patreon group or a private Facebook group or a private YouTube group. You're giving them more content, more access to you. That's an easy way to monetize your show. But also at the same time, those are your supporters. You bring them closer, more into what you're doing in the content space, and you'll be surprised that many of those people, they want to see you thrive. You may have helped them get through their day. They listen to you on that ride home. They're like, wow, I definitely want this show to do well. So I'm happy to give them $5 a month. I'm happy to give them $10 a month. And they want you to be that next big thing. So don't be discouraged by not being want to ask your current day one listeners if they'd be willing to support you there. And then last but not least is a tip that I give almost any creator that I work with as they come into the Hive and they're ready to engage with Creators Guild. There's probably a space right now that many of you frequent every day in whatever city, whatever town that you're in. You probably go to this place often. You probably know the owners. The owners probably are very familiar with you. They probably appreciate you patronizing their space. And you probably don't know, what they probably don't know about you is that you have a podcast or that you're about to launch a podcast. So what I always encourage new creators to do, hey, go by that spot. Let them know, hey, I'm starting a podcast. I would love to tell people about the incredible things that you do here. So this is the value exchange. And in lieu of that, hey, give me a discount code, give me a QR code or something that I could share with my audience, because I really enjoy this place and I would like to bring more people to you. All the while, if you don't mind letting my audience know that you're a place that's willing to support me. You're not asking for any money, you're not doing any of that. All you're doing is building some brand loyalty with a place that you already frequent, and then letting them know. And then in that case, if your audience, is interested in that location as well, then you can come back to them and say, hey, I think we had about 20, 30 people come by. I hope they told you that they heard about you from the podcast, that they enjoy the content that I do, and they love your spot. Then you've had a value exchange where you can come in and talk about maybe something monetarily. Hey, maybe this discount code next time I get a percentage of what happens. Or would you be willing to run a commercial on my show? Do something that covers your, maybe your production fees. Do something that maybe covers your travel to the location. And then from there, you'll start to build out more momentum and you'll be surprised. So never be afraid to ask. And the 3 tips again, I'll tell you: make sure, one, you're collecting that data. Get an email address, sign up to text, make sure that you're able to capture those individuals in real time, because that's always going to be impactful for your group. Don't be afraid to try to monetize the group that's been your day one. Ask them. They may be willing to support you, help you, give you, a $5 a month subscription. There are a lot of platforms, a private community, a content community. Don't be afraid to do that. And third, if there's a place you already go to that you frequent, one, they should definitely know you have a podcast, because podcast is great for branding and marketing. And two, don't be afraid to ask them, hey, can I get a QR code? Can I have a conversation with you about how I want to share with my audience how great this place is? And maybe in return, we can do some business together. So keep that in mind. You'll hear more from us at Creators Guild here right at the Hive Houston. And this is LP. If you have any questions, feel free. Drop a link in the chat, send me a DM, send us some information here on YouTube. We'll be doing these more often. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot us a note. LP,